Jared and I met kind of unexpectedly. We both worked at Haas's, but he had moved away and come back.
I'd worked there for years, and I'd moved away. And when I moved back to the area, I got my old job back there. And
I was working salad bar, and he was a waiter.
My first day walking into the place, I looked over, and there was this new girl.
I remember him coming in, like I remember the moment that I saw him for the first time, and I literally was like, who's that? Like, who is that guy? Like,
and she was this really pretty girl. I was like, well, who's that? You know, I kind of want to get to know her. You know, over the next couple weeks, I'd make little excuses to go down to the salad bar.
He would come over to the salad bar and like steal cookies from the little salad bar like area where I was at as an excuse to talk to me.
I had no business being there. It was just anything I could do to get an excuse to talk to her and get to know her a little bit better, introduce myself.
I was just like, I thought he was very cute. He eventually asked me out at work, actually. He had stayed late after to help me close and walk me to my car and asked me on our date, so yeah.
Our first date, we decided to go to Bad Boys Bistro. It's a little place in Bedford.
So our first date, I was actually 20 minutes late.
I was there waiting for her, and about 10 minutes went by, and she wasn't there. 15 minutes went by and she still wasn't there, and I was starting to think, you know, maybe I got stood up here. This is kind of gonna make it awkward next time I go into work.
My credit card was locked. There was some issue where I didn't have money, and I was worried because I never want to go on a date and like assume that a guy's gonna pay.
It turns out she wasn't sure if it was really a date or not, and she wanted to make sure she had some money just in case she had to pay or anything.
I like texted my mom in a panic, like, you need to come home because you need to get me like some money so that I can go on this date with this guy. So I finally showed up, and he was waiting outside, and he's like, I didn't know if you were gonna come or not. I was a little bit nervous, and I was like, no, I'm so sorry, like, I'm here.
It went great. We really hit it off. We really had a lot in common. She was a really awesome girl, down to earth.
So we went and we literally talked for like 2.5 hours, like to the point where I think we were annoying the waitress. It was like the best first date I ever had.
I asked her, you know, hey, I got nothing else going on today. Do you want to head up to Altoona, you know, do a little shopping at the mall or anything like that?
Jared drove me home, like he drove behind me, and we like dropped my car off the house so Jared could drive us to Altoona. This
is the first date with this girl, and I'm meeting her family. So I was, you know, just trying to tidy myself up a little bit, make sure I was presentable. And
it was actually very embarrassing to me. Like, I love my father, but he's the most interesting man in the world. And we pulled in, and my dad was shirtless with the mower and headphones in his ears, singing Green Day at the top of his lungs, like very loudly, like with his headphones in, like belting it into the neighborhood. I'm like, yeah, this is typical dad.
I introduce myself, I shake his hand, you know, I tell him, hey, you know, my name's Jared, I want to take your daughter out. It was really great because there was a lot of time on the drive up and the drive back. It was like 45 minutes one way where we got to talk. I got to find out more about her, just, you know, what's your favorite color, you know, what bands do you listen to, you know, what kind of food do you like, just a really great way to learn a lot about her, and is probably one of the longest dates I've ever been on in my life, and it was really memorable.
So I actually said I love you first.
She was the first one to say I love you. I wanted to take everything really slow.
I remember, I think we were watching a movie in the dark, and I just was like I really wanted to tell him, but I didn't want to be the first one to say it.
You know, she looks up at me and she says, I like you. I really, really like you. And I said, well, I like you too.
And I was like, no, I really like you. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, I love you. And he like kind of laughed and was like, okay, I love you too. And it was probably a year and a half or so in a relationship. We waited for a while to say I love you, but I think we knew it before then. Just didn't know when to say it. And it just felt like a perfect moment. Our relationship's very like comfortable and calming, and I don't know. I feel like we're better together.
The moment I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, I don't know if there's just one moment. I think it's kind of like drops in a glass until it eventually overflows. Just being with her and just how well our personalities click together. We're always having fun, we're always telling jokes. She makes me want to be better than I am, and we just click. It's just perfect.
Jared and I went snorkeling and we spent the whole day on the boat. And I remember like thinking on the boat and like looking out in the ocean and literally just being like, I think this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Like I can't think of a moment I've ever been happier than like right now. And I said that to him at that point. I was like, I think I'm just so happy. Like I can't think of anything I would change. Like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on the earth right now. And I think that's the moment I realized I wanted to be with Jared forever.
I decided to propose probably years before I actually did. I knew I loved her. I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with Amanda, but I also wanted to make sure that I had something to offer to her, something, I wanted to make sure that I was good enough. I graduated from school, I'm starting a new job, I'm starting a new chapter in my life, and it seemed like a great time to start a new chapter in our life as well.
So I didn't realize that Jared was planning to propose to me at that point, obviously, but we decided we were going to go to a beach trip with our family, and it was in the midst of COVID. I was working as COVID ICU nurse full-time for UPMC and was working exclusively COVID ICU, and I had been exposed for like the third time or something 10 days before a beach trip. And around like day 7, I started to get symptoms, and just really mild. But I was like so paranoid. All I wanted to do was go on this beach trip with our family. We had planned it a year ahead. So I ended up getting tested for COVID the day before we left for the beach. And I found out the day of that we were leaving for the beach that I was COVID negative and I could go. Little did I know Jared was planning on proposing on this beach trip.
I ordered this ring online. I designed it, perfected. I snuck into her jewelry box, and I found out what her ring size was, and I found out it was going to be arriving at my house the day after we left. So I ended up talking to my parents, and my mom and dad volunteered to stay behind a day to make sure that they could get it, signed for it, and bring it down for me so I'd have it there for the proposal. He
asked me in the sunset out on the top balcony of the beach house we were staying in.
I took her upstairs on this private balcony overlooking the sound. It was just the two of us, and I got down on one knee and I asked her if she'd spend the rest of her life with me, and I was lucky enough she said yes.
If I could describe my relationship in one word, I think it'd probably be joy. There's so much laughter and just happiness and tons of laughter overall. I think that's it.
I would describe our relationship as home. There's never any uncomfortable silences with us. We're always happy to be together, but we don't always have to be interacting. She can be, reading a book, playing a game. I can be doing some studying or playing one of my games. There's never any feeling like I have to be on stage with her. I can be myself. I can be relaxed around her. We have a great matching sense of humor. She makes me laugh, I make her laugh.
I would define love as being together, being there for your person. People that love each other, there's all kinds of different loves. You have the love of a parent, the love of your friends, and the love of a relationship. And I think the basis of love overall is just being there for each other, giving time, and being patient. I think to love somebody, you have to be patient with yourself as well as patient with your partner. Practicing kindness, I think, those are the big things.
I define love as being with somebody that accepts you for who you are and loves you no matter what, but you want to be better for them. Somebody that always drives you to be a better person, to always be improving yourself. And that's what Amanda is to me. She drives me to be better, even though I know she loves me for who I am and what I am. I think it's something that develops naturally over time, and it's just it kind of flows. It's something you don't find when you're looking for it. It finds you.